Alright, so I know I touched base on the Orlando thing, which I just heard about in the last video. Um, but now that I know much more about it, I wanted to do a video. Um, this is a really sad situation, and not just not just for the community, but for America at large. Um, there's a lot of facts coming out about this situation, and a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. Um, for right now, 50 people are dead, um, and the shooter, and I think the motive is kind of irrelevant. Um, yeah, I've heard many different things about this, but it's really tragic. It really hit close to home for me, being not too far from Orlando, knowing people who knew people, um, just being someone who goes to the club, and just knowing what it would be like, at that hour at closing time. I mean, it's crazy, and there's just so much. It really stems from hate, I think, at the end of the day. So, you know, was it a hate crime? Was it part of ISIS? ISIS related? Um, I think all all murder is hate. All killing, you have to have an intense emotion to take someone's life, including your own. And I think for the most part, it is all hate. Um, there's different contexts of this. I heard from an eyewitness on the news. The girl was telling her story, a survivor, an eyewitness, a survivor, um, that he did call 911 and swear to the allegiance of ISIS, and that he was talking in Arabic to somebody after 911. And I heard he scoped out the club beforehand. So I don't know. I think it's time for the world to unite, though. Uh, do I think he had hate for the gay community? It sounds like it, for whatever reason. But and that reason could be that he was gay himself. It's hate is hate regardless, and what these mass killings have in common. If you look at South Carolina not too long ago, that was the same thing, where someone who had hate in their heart sought out a group of people to slaughter in their own place, and it's really sad that not only it can get to that, but that people don't speak up, whether to the person, to authorities. Um, just stand up for if you hear something weird, if you see something weird, just or not right, stand up for that. And I think this should just be a good reminder to just love each other more, appreciate each other, tell each other you care, because you may not have the opportunity tomorrow. It's not promised for anybody, and no one's a mind reader. So it's really important to show and tell, and really make sure that the people in our lives know that we care about them. Um, the world needs to unite against ISIS. I personally feel, although it is probably hate-driven as well, I do believe this was an attack from ISIS. They like to do it big. They've claimed responsibility for it. We'll find out more as this goes along. It'll be interesting who he did make that phone call to after 911. But America is strong. We are a very strong country, and this isn't just happening to America. ISIS is attacking all kinds of other cities. Um, Now, I believe Iraq has taken back um, some territory that ISIS tried to take over. They're fighting hard over there, and I think more people need to get together. We need to work. America needs to work as a team now. It's time to get together and work as a team on all levels. It's not a matter. Jimmy Fallon really said it best. So I suggest watching his piece on it. But it's not about right or wrong. It's not about this is how I live my life and you need to live it the same way. That's not what America's about, and that's not what love is about. And there's so many fingers being pointed right now. Oh, this person's to blame, or oh, or trying to gather my thoughts. But a lot of people talking about it, like, oh, the motive for it, or, who's to blame? Are Muslims to blame? Are people to blame for, raising homophobes or endorsing homophobia? The reality is, all hate, to me, is really the same, whether it's homophobia or sexism or racism. It all stems from the same thing, and I think it builds over time for the average person. Interestingly enough, there's been some research that shows there's a study. I'm sorry, I apologize. My phone keeps going off, and I've got iMessage, so it's coming up on the phone. But there was a study, and I'll leave that link down below on hate and the way it affects the brain. And interestingly enough, there is a circuit. So I know a circuit. So that study, and that's just one study, a small study, but that study certainly implies that we're wired to hate. I mean, there's definitely a circuit in our brain. There's definitely specific areas that deal with that. So just like for love, so it's very interesting. But I think the bottom line is we need to all just unite and be here for each other and support each other and grieve together as a country, and then get up and stand strong and not tolerate this shit anymore. The laws are going to be the way the laws are, but everybody should just stand up for what they believe in and stand strong and love each other. And if you see something, say something. If your friend starts talking some crazy stuff, talk to them about it. If it seems like it could be legit, go to authorities, because we can save lives each and every day just by being aware and just by being a decent human being to other people. It makes a big difference. You never know whose life you're saving in that aspect, who might be planning to kill themselves or do something stupid, and you just being a nice person changed their perspective, because reality is perspective. It's interpretation of our brain through our senses, our eyes, our ears, our taste, our touch. It's just interpretation of that, and that perception can be altered all the time. It is altered. There's research that shows just how differently people think about a situation when you take out one sentence. If you're telling someone something and you just leave out one sentence about it, I think they were like, the study was they were like watching a TV, or these people were watching like a video or something, like two different groups of people, and one people were under the impression that what they were watching was one way, that the woman worked in the situation was different. I don't know how to explain it, but basically they were just watching two different. They were watching the same dialogue, but there was one sentence added to the description of one group of people. And that one sentence completely changed how they felt about those people. It changed their perception on things. So, very interesting stuff. But I'll leave that link down below. That's my feelings on it. Pray for Orlando. I know some people don't think that prayer necessarily works. A lot of people do not believe in a higher power. Totally understand that. But I do think there's a lot of science behind the power of positive thinking and obviously taking action. So take whatever action you can. Donate blood, donate money, donate your ear to a grieving soul, donate your time, do whatever you can. Be a decent human being, not just today, but every day. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I guess I'm growing my hair too, so it's that.